Hello students, in continuations with your Team 8, that is Peasants, Zamindars and the State, our today's topic will be Women in Agrarian Society, page 206. In agrarian society, both men and women perform certain specific roles in production process. Women had to work shoulder to shoulder with men in the fields. Men used to till the land and plow the lands, and women sowed, weeds threshed, and winnowed the harvest. So, with the development of these small rural units and individual agricultures of this peasant, labor and resources of entire household became the basis of this production. And naturally, gendered segregations was not possible between the home for women and the world for men. So even then, there was continuations of these biases related to these women's biological functions. For example, menstruating women were not allowed to touch the plow or wheel of potters in Western India. Okay. Women in agrarian society kan ti chuan thingtlang lo nei tu te van tlang nu na hmeichhia te din hmun ti na ni a hmei a pa in lo hna an thok ani hmeichhia pon lo hna an thok tho ti na ni chumo chuan mi pa in lei an leta lei letin thlo hma an zo thin ani chuan hmeichhia in engen ti vele hmeichhia chuan in bu chi te an the a tlai chi te the in enge bu te kha an lo za fai thin ani mo an thlom hala khi an zo zela chuanin in tin me hianin thar chua an lo nei thei ta ni chuan an khosak te po kha alo zia om pha viau ani dan pa ngai angin hmeichhia ten in chungkur sekrek mo le fanau en kultu an nia Western India chuanin hmeichhia te hianin thi an nei lai chuanin enge an hlumbel siam ti vel mo khatiang vel kha khoi an phal mi alo thung ani and artisanal tasks like spinning yarn, sifting and kneading clays for this pottery and embroidery, all these works were done by these women. Women were considered an important resources in agrarian society, also because they were childbearer in a society dependent on labor, and marriage in many rural communities required in payment of this bride price rather than this dowry to the bride's family. According to the established social norms, like the household was headed by male and these women were kept under strict control by these male members of the families and the community. And almost all these landed gentry women had the rights to inherit property. This we find certain example from this Punjab, which shows that women, even widow, were actively participated in this rural land market as sellers of this property inherited by them, and they were free to sell or this mortgage their land. Ole in chungkur sekrek fanau enkol pia lama meichhia ten in lama thil tangkai tur chi la hlum kan ti te puan ta te la phiar te mo chuan puan thui par ti te po kha an thiam em ni chu ba ka meichhia te hi fashing tu an ni awangin an poimo hle ani ti chuan anin nei dan chungchanga khanin chuanin man anin hlan masathin ani mo dowry system thuam chom aya khan chuan an van tlang nuna in kai shwai dana chuan father is the head of the family. Anin mun lo ram zong zong hi chung kwa ho tu ber pa ber ta ania chuan nu nau te ro chu an pasal te khwa khirna hnuaya khanin anom thung ani ma se mi chal lang fa mo mi ho safa te mi yang mei che fa te chuanin an pa te in hmun lo ram kha an ro chhun thei ve tho ani and next we go to forests and tribes beyond settled village. Apart from these intensive cultivated lands, India has a huge rep forest, dense forest called jungle, or uh, scrubland called Kharban existed all over the eastern India, okay? Central India, North India, Jharkhand, and in peninsular India, down to the western Ghats and to the Deccan plateaus. These forest dwellers were termed as these jungli as their livelihood came from this gathering of forest produce, hunting and shifting agricultures. These activities were largely seasonal specific, okay? Regular hunting expeditions enabled the emperors to travel around across these extensive territories of his empire and personally attended to the grievances of its inhabitants. And the spread of these commercial agricultures was an important external factors that implinked means have an effect on the lives of the forest dwellers. Elephants were also captured and sold here. These social factors changes the lives of these forest dwellers, like the big man of the village community. Tribes also had their own chieftains. Okay. Ole. Thlomanei pialama ramngozau takle cha tak nein anin nga na ber ani bok ani sapel te thil chi sang an la khoma an eile in an cha khailam na ber chu forest ania huna local zela khwalzin mi ten an lo tlo pua chuan zor tur chi thlai chin an ron war chhota hei hianin nasa takin forest dweller ho kha ahmong ani. Okay, next we go to the Zamindars. The term Zamindars means landowner. They had vast tracts of land and controlled over their peasants, from whom they reserved the rights to collect these taxes on behalf of imperial courts or for these military purposes. Okay, and these zamindars lived in the countryside and did not participate directly in the process of these agricultural productions. They had extensive personal lands termed as this milkiyat, meaning property. Milkiyat lands were cultivated for the private use of these zamindars, and these zamindars collect revenue on behalf of the state. Okay, and most zamindars had fortress as well as armed contingents comprising units of this cavalry, artillery, and infantry. These zamindars spearheaded the colonizations of these agricultural lands and helped in settling cultivators by providing them with the means of these cultivations, including these cash loans. Okay, yes. Although there can be a little doubt that zamindars were an exploitative class, their relationship with the peasantry had an elements of reciprocity, these paternalisms, and there is a patronage among them. Okay, and next we go to this land revenue. Revenue from the land was the economic mainstay of the Mughal Empire. This land revenue arrangement consisted of these two stages: this first assessment and then these actual collections. Okay, in the list of these duties of the revenue collections during Akbar's time, Akbar decreed means to pay, ordered. Akbar decreed that while he should strive to make these cultivators pay in cash, the options of this payment in kind was also kept open, okay, during his time. Ole, Zamindars kan ti chuan ram nei tu ti na nia. Zamindars te hian ram zau tak an neya peasants ho kha an control thin ani mo ram tan chia khon tu an nia. Zamindars chen khat phei chuanin kul te sipai te indo siam shei te sakor rual te an nei ani an hausa ti na ni chu chuan land revenue chung chang khatlem te han soi leila land revenue kan ti chuan ram chia mo hei hi an rin pui ber an ram khai ding tu le an chorbok ber ania Akbar a hun lai phei chuanin an nge chia kha a poisa asuma pek tur an nei lo poin poisa aya bungrua in an pe thin ani and next we go to flow of silver. The Mughal Empire consolidate its powers and resources from the empires of this Ming, China, Safavid eras, and from this Ottoman Turkey during the 16th and 17th century. Voyages of discovery and the opening up of this new world resulted in a massive expansion of this Asia, particularly trade with this Europe. And expanding trade brought in huge amount of silver bullion into Asia to pay for goods procured from this India, okay? And a large part of that bullion kan ti chuan rang kachak le tangkara cher na ni chu cher lo ti na ni chuan gravitations towards this India. So this period between the 16th and the 17th century was also marked by this remarkable stability in the availabilities of this metal currency, particularly the silver rupia in India. And the testimony of an Italian travelers, Giovanni Ferrari, who passed through this India in 1690, provides a graphic accounts about the way silver traveled across the globe to reach India. Okay. Ole. An sum don na aron zau tiala silver ron lut po. Silver khan an sum do ngani mo silver ron lut po kha chanem hle ni. Italian travelers Giovanni Ferrari an azin veiva na thuziak atarlan dan phei chuan silver chungchang hi ziak telani mo Indian rama aron lu dan te aziak lang nual ani silver chungchang poi aziak lang heng he ni chom zia chu khati hun lai khan in silver kha atam hle ti na ni mo during the times of this Mughal Empire. And next we go to the Akbari of Abul Fazl Alami. The Akbari, or the administrations of Akbar, is a 16th century detailed documents recording the administrations of this Mughal Empire under the Emperor Akbar, okay? Written by his court historians Abul Fazl in the Persian language. Okay, you have to remember this Aini Akbari hi engtongin nge anzia in Persian language. Tunge Aziak Toka, it was written by Abul Fazl. Okay, these texts very carefully recorded the arrangement made by the state to ensure cultivations, and it gives detailed accounts of the organizations of the courts, the administrations and army, the sources of revenue, and the physical layouts of the provinces of this Akbar's empire, and the literary, cultural, and religious traditions of the people. And this Ain is made up of these 5 books called Daftar. Okay, Ain remains as extraordinary documents of its time by providing fascinating glimpses into the structures and organizations of this Mughal Empire, and by giving us quantitative informations about its product and people. Okay. Aini Akbari hi Akbara Rorel Dante zia ka chinchia na ania hele khabua hian an ram rorel Dante an lalram an province rampung sang in kai shwai Dante thu le hla le an sa khu ser le sang le an thil siam chhuate chanchin kim chang takin an tar lang ani. Okay, khati zong kha voina kan explain thei chu ni se. Thank you all.